You guys are really, really lucky that you came today, because I'm going to tell you who's going to win the election.
Who cares?
It's depressing, let's not talk about it.
With an 86% probability, a lot of people think it's their positions on the economy, what they're going to do with taxation, what we're going to do in the world, our roles in the world. None of that matters. There's one great indicator that has proven with 19 out of the last 22 elections has predicted the elections correctly, and it's predicted it 100% since 1985. So do I have your attention? Okay, so I will tell you here in a second who's going to win, but I also want to share with you, based on the positions that our two candidates have taken, how that may affect your portfolio. Because you can imagine, I get that question a lot, Steve, what should I be doing with my investments as we get closer to the election, or what if candidate A wins or candidate B wins? What should I do? Well, I will tell you that you don't need to make wholesale changes to your portfolio, but they did mention a couple things that they are going to emphasize should they become president. Our Democrat nominee, Hillary Clinton, has talked about energy. Right? Same thing with our Republican nominee, Donald Trump, has talked about energy as well. But they've talked about it in different ways. The Democrat has talked about clean energy sources. So she's talked about solar, wind power to replace the non-renewable energy sources of coal, gas, and natural gas and nuclear. Donald Trump has talked about unleashing our energy, but unleashing the traditional energy sources, which is made up of coal and natural gas primarily, and oil. So those are two sectors you may want to think about, or at least explore as we go further, okay? Now, based on those predictions, they also talked about the banking industry. Now, what would happen in banking should we have a Democrat nominee win? And that is, it's going to be very, very difficult for our larger banks. So maybe you want to stay a little bit away from financials and look more towards smaller regional banks, maybe a better consideration, okay? Now, based on those two winning, right? How much time do I have left?
3.5 minutes.
Okay, good. I'm going to stretch it out to the end. Okay. But you look at the different sectors. When we have a Democrat win, what normally does well? Healthcare does well. Telecom does well. And also technology tends to do well. So again, maybe some things that you want to consider as you look at how do you position your portfolio going forward. Now, did that fall again? Okay. All right. Here you go, Ben. When you have the Republicans win, and we have a Republican president, what tends to do well is energy, materials, which are basic materials for growth, so they tend to be more of a growth focus, okay? So those are just some considerations as you go forward. But I would tell you that you don't need to make wholesale changes into your investments. You just need to stick to your long-term plan. The things that I share with you when we have the opportunity to sit down and talk, I talk to you about those things that you can control. As investors, can we control what happens in the market? Can we control what happens in the market? They ask me all the time, Steve, what's the market going to do today? I say that it's either going to go up or go down, or it's probably going to stay the same. One of those three. And that's what happens. It either goes up, goes down, or stays the same. So you can't control the market, but you can control the quality of the investments that you own. You can pick and choose what you want to own based on some of the things I've shared with you today, right? You can control the quality of your investments. So when you think of companies that you may want to look at, I like large dividend-paying companies. I like getting paid while I'm waiting for my stocks to appreciate in value. What I've noticed being a financial advisor, thank you. What I've noticed being a financial advisor, my clients who hold on to their investments for the longest period of time. I had a client in my office yesterday. She's 82 years old. She's held on to Johnson & Johnson for over 27 years now. That $1,800 investment is almost worth $30,000 today. I have another client who would purchase Caterpillar. So if we decide to go back into, and they talked about infrastructure, both of them talked about infrastructure. So again, maybe something worth considering. Companies like Caterpillar. Caterpillar was owned by this gentleman. He worked for Caterpillar in Peoria, Illinois. He was there for 35 years. During the course of his employment, he happened to buy systematically over time, purchase Caterpillar. When he retired, he had over 8,000 shares of Caterpillar. He lived on the dividends that were created by that stock. He didn't need his Social Security, he didn't need any other resources. He lived very, very well on the dividends that were being paid by this company. That $25,000 investment turned into a little over $850,000, just to kind of give you some idea. Okay, so you're wondering what has been the greatest indicator of the elections going back to 1926, and that's the movement in the S&P 500 index. Yes. When the party in power, for the 90 days prior to the election, if the market goes down, the party in power loses. If the market goes up, the party in power gets reelected and they remain the same. So today, we are about 45 points below where we were 90 days ago. So that'll give you a little indication of where we are today. And this has worked, again, 19 out of the last 22 presidential elections. So if the S&P 500 goes above 2185, we will reelect a Democrat. If it stays below that, we will have a new Republican president. Thank you.